The massive screen in Earth's United Defense Council chamber flickered to life, displaying the stern face of an alien being. Its purple skin and multiple eyes would have once shocked the humans in the room. But not anymore. Not after 50 years of secret surveillance of the galaxy. Admiral James Thompson stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his weathered face showing no emotion as the alien began to speak. Around him, 20 council members sat in tense silence. "People of Earth," the alien's voice boomed through the speakers. "I am High Commander Dale of the Galactic Imperial Council. Your primitive world has been granted the honor of joining our mighty empire. You have 30 Earth days to submit to our rule. Resistance will result in immediate military action." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the room in silence. Admiral Thompson allowed himself a small smile. Council President William Black turned to the Admiral. "They still think we're primitive." "Our deception has worked perfectly," Thompson replied, walking to the center of the room. He pressed a button on the table, and a hologram appeared, showing Earth's solar system. "For 50 years, we've hidden our true capabilities. Every probe they sent, we allowed them to see exactly what we wanted them to see." The hologram zoomed out, revealing hundreds of small dots scattered throughout the asteroid belt. Each dot represented a cloaked warship, hidden from the Empire's sensors by Earth's revolutionary dark star technology. "How many ships do they plan to send?" asked Defense Minister Mary Roberts, leaning forward in her chair. Thompson expanded another section of the hologram. "Our deep space sensors detect an Imperial fleet of 300 ships gathering at the edge of our solar system. They believe this force will be more than enough to handle our primitive civilization." A quiet chuckle spread through the room. The Empire had no idea that humanity possessed technology far beyond their understanding, while they wasted resources maintaining their vast empire through brute force. Earth had focused on innovation and advancement. "Show them the Bell Project," President Black commanded. Thompson nodded and changed the hologram. A massive space station appeared, hidden in orbit behind the moon. "The Bell Project is our ultimate weapon. 10 years of work, combining quantum physics with dark matter manipulation. One shot can disable every electronic system in a 1,000-mile radius." The council members studied the weapon with pride. Earth had developed it not out of a desire for war, but knowing this day would come. The Empire had a history of forcing primitive worlds to join them, stripping them of resources and reducing their populations to slave labor. "They've made 2 critical mistakes," Thompson continued, pacing slowly around the hologram. "First, they assumed our radio transmissions and visible technology represented our true capabilities. Second, they gave us 30 days to submit, time we can use to position our forces perfectly." Minister Roberts stood up. "I move to reject their ultimatum and proceed with Defense Plan Alpha." "Seconded," another council member called out. President Black looked around the room. "All in favor?" 20 hands rose without hesitation. "Admiral Thompson," Black said, "you have full authorization to proceed. Send our response to the Empire." Thompson walked back to the screen and pressed a button. The alien commander's face appeared again, looking smug and confident. "High Commander Dale," Thompson spoke clearly and calmly. "We, the people of Earth, reject your ultimatum. We suggest you reconsider your position." The alien's expression shifted to one of amusement. "You dare to reject the Empire? Your primitive weapons will be useless against our fleet." "You speak of things you don't understand, Commander," Thompson replied with a hint of a smile. "We are not the primitive civilization you believe us to be. If you attack, you will face the full might of humanity." The alien commander laughed. "Bold words from a species that barely reached its moon. You have sealed your fate. Prepare for annihilation." The transmission cut off again. Thompson turned to the council. "And now we wait," he said. "They'll attack before the 30 days are up, trying to catch us off guard. But we're ready. Our ships are in position, our weapons are primed, and Earth's greatest military minds are prepared for battle." He looked at the hologram one last time, watching the dots that represented humanity's hidden fleet. The Empire is about to learn a very important lesson. Never underestimate humanity. As the council members filed out of the room, Thompson allowed himself to feel a moment of pride. 50 years of preparation, secrecy, and technological advancement were about to pay off. The Empire thought they were going to subjugate a primitive world. Instead, they were about to wake a sleeping giant. The Imperial fleet appeared exactly where Admiral Thompson predicted, just beyond Jupiter's orbit. 300 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, their metal hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight. From their viewpoint, Earth looked small and defenseless. In his command chair aboard the hidden flagship Thunder, Thompson watched the enemy fleet through advanced sensor displays. The Empire had arranged their ships in a standard attack formation, exactly as Earth's intelligence suggested they would. "They're so predictable," Commander Peter Stone said from his tactical station. "Just like the training simulations." Thompson nodded. "Send the alert to all hidden ships. Maintain dark star cloaking until my mark." Throughout the asteroid belt, 2,000 of Earth's most advanced warships waited in perfect silence. Their dark star technology bent light and energy around them, making them completely invisible to Imperial sensors. 50 years of preparation had led to this moment. The Imperial fleet moved forward slowly, their confidence evident in their leisurely pace. Their communication channels, which they thought were secure, crackled with chatter that Earth's quantum computers easily decoded. "Look at their primitive satellites," one Imperial captain laughed. "They don't even have proper defense platforms." "This will be the easiest conquest yet," another replied. "Their most advanced weapons are chemical rockets." Thompson allowed himself a small smile. "Let them get closer," he ordered. "Wait until they're fully committed." The Imperial ships passed the orbit of Mars, their weapons charging. They expected to find a helpless planet. Instead, they were flying into humanity's carefully laid trap. "They're in position, Admiral," Stone reported. "All ships are within our engagement zone." Thompson leaned forward in his chair. "Send the signal. Execute Operation Thunderclap." What happened next would be recorded in galactic history books for centuries to come. 2,000 human warships simultaneously dropped their cloaking fields. The Imperial fleet suddenly found itself surrounded on all sides by vessels far more advanced than their own. "By the stars," an Imperial captain's panic transmitted clearly. "Where did they come from?" "All ships, open fire," Thompson commanded. "Show them what humanity is capable of." The space around Mars lit up with energy weapons far beyond Imperial technology. Earth's quantum phase cannons bypassed enemy shields completely, their beams passing through defensive barriers as if they weren't there. The first volley alone disabled 30 Imperial ships. "Impossible." The Imperial commander's voice boomed across the command channel. "Their weapons, they're passing through our best shields." The Empire attempted to regroup, but their formations fell into chaos. They had trained to fight enemies with technology similar to their own, not an adversary that had leaped centuries ahead in secret. "Launch the Dark Star missiles," Thompson ordered. From Earth's ships, thousands of missiles emerged. Unlike normal weapons, these disappeared from view immediately, cloaked by the same technology that had hidden the human fleet. The Imperial ships had no way to track them, no way to defend against weapons they couldn't see. Explosions bloomed across space as the missiles found their targets. Imperial ships began breaking apart, their crews desperately trying to escape in survival pods. "Enemy fleet is attempting to retreat," Stone reported. "They're trying to calculate FTL jumps." "Deploy the bell," Thompson commanded. From behind the moon, Earth's secret weapon activated. A wave of invisible energy swept across space, disrupting the Imperial ship's ability to enter faster than light travel. They were trapped. "This is Admiral James Thompson of Earth's Defense Fleet," he broadcast on all frequencies. "Your ships are disabled. Your weapons are useless. Surrender now, and we will show mercy." The response was immediate. Emergency beacons lit up across the Imperial fleet, as ship after ship surrendered. In less than an hour, the mighty Imperial attack force had been reduced to floating wreckage and disabled vessels. Casualty report, Thompson asked. Minimal damage to 3 of our ships, Stone replied. No casualties. Enemy losses, near total. Thompson stood from his command chair and looked at the tactical display. The Empire had sent 300 ships to conquer Earth. Instead, they had revealed humanity's true power to the galaxy. Send word to Earth, he ordered. First phase complete. And send a message to the Imperial capital. He paused, choosing his words carefully. Tell them this was just a small demonstration of human military power. They have 24 hours to reconsider their position, or we'll bring the fight to their doorstep. As rescue ships moved to collect Imperial survivors, Thompson knew the real war was just beginning. But humanity was ready. They had been ready for 50 years. And now the galaxy would know it. In the grand Imperial Palace on the capital world, chaos reigned. Emergency alarms blared through golden halls as officials rushed between command centers. The loss of 300 ships in less than an hour had sent shockwaves through the Empire's leadership. Emperor Marcus paced in the war room, his face dark with anger. Around him, military commanders stared at holographic displays showing the complete destruction of their attack fleet. How? He demanded. How did a primitive species do this? High Commander Dale, now back at the capital, stood trembling before his emperor. My lord, they deceived us. Everything we knew about Earth was wrong. On the main screen, surveillance footage played on repeat. It showed Earth's ships appearing from nowhere, their weapons cutting through Imperial shields like paper. The Emperor watched it for the 100th time, his hands clenched into fists. Our best spies reported they had only chemical rockets, one general said. Their most advanced computers used silicon chips. Their energy weapons were in early testing phases. All lies. Emperor Marcus slammed his fist on the table. They fooled us for years. But how? Our surveillance was constant. In another part of the palace, the Imperial Intelligence Agency was falling apart. Director Tom White, Earth's deep cover agent, sat quietly in his office, sending encrypted reports back to Earth. For 30 years, he had fed the Empire exactly the information humanity wanted them to see. The door burst open, and an Imperial security team rushed in. Director, the lead officer said, "We've detected unusual transmissions from your office." White smiled and pressed a button on his desk. In an instant, his body shimmered and vanished. A hologram all along. The real Director White was already safely back on Earth. Back in the war room, a young analyst rushed in with new information. My Emperor, we've discovered that humans have been intercepting all our secure communications. They'd broken every code we have. The revelation hit the room like a physical blow. The Empire's most secret messages, their military plans, their technological data. Humanity had seen it all. Our quantum networks were supposed to be unbreakable, a technology minister whispered. The humans didn't break them, another analyst said, looking at his datapad. They advanced far beyond them. Our best computers look like children's toys compared to their quantum systems. Emperor Marcus sank into his throne, his proud posture crumbling. How many ships do they have? Unknown, sir. The fleet that destroyed our attack force appeared from nowhere. They could have thousands more hidden throughout their system. The room fell silent as a new transmission appeared on the main screen. Admiral Thompson's face looked down at them, calm and confident. Emperor Marcus, Thompson said, your 24 hours are nearly up. Have you reconsidered your position? The Emperor stood, trying to maintain his dignity. You cannot threaten the Empire. We have tens of thousands of ships. We will destroy. Let me stop you there, Thompson interrupted. While you've been gathering your forces, we've already infiltrated every major system in your empire. Would you like a demonstration? On screens across the palace, images began appearing. Human stealth ships decloaking near crucial Imperial installations. advanced weapon systems appearing in orbit around Imperial fortress worlds. 50 years of careful preparation revealed in an instant. Impossible, Emperor Marcus whispered. No species could have done this much. Humanity has always excelled at preparing for threats, Thompson said. You saw what a small portion of our fleet did to your attack force. Imagine what our full military could do. In the deep space around the capital, sensors suddenly detected massive energy readings. Hundreds of human ships dropped their cloaking fields, their weapons aimed at the heart of the Empire. You have a choice, Emperor Marcus, Thompson continued. Surrender now, or watch your 1,000-year empire fall in a day. We'll await your response. The transmission ended, leaving the Imperial leadership staring at each other in shock. Their mighty empire, which had conquered thousands of worlds, now faced an enemy they never truly understood. Emperor Marcus looked out the window at the human ships now visible in the sky. For the first time in Imperial history, the throne world itself was under direct threat. Get me the Imperial Senate, he said quietly. We need to vote on surrender terms. The Empire's confidence had turned to confusion, and confusion was quickly becoming fear. Humanity had revealed itself not as primitive prey, but as the most dangerous predator the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Thompson stood on the bridge of the Thunder, watching as Operation Thunderstrike began. Across Imperial space, human fleets appeared from their hidden positions, striking at key military installations with surgical precision. All battle groups report ready, Commander Stone announced from his station. The Empire's forces are scattered and disorganized. The main screen showed hundreds of green dots representing Earth's ships, moving through Imperial space like an unstoppable tide. Red dots marking Imperial forces were blinking out one by one as humanity's superior weapons found their targets. The Empire is finally seeing our true strength, Thompson said, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. Begin Phase 2. Earth's fleet split into 3 massive groups. The first targeted the Empire's shipyards, preventing them from building new warships. The second struck at military bases, neutralizing any organized resistance. The third, led by Thompson himself, pushed straight toward the Imperial capital. In the Thunder's engine room, Chief Engineer Jack Miller monitored the new faster-than-light drives. These engines, hidden from the Empire for decades, could cross the galaxy in hours instead of weeks. Imperial ships could only watch helplessly as human vessels appeared and disappeared faster than they could track. Another Imperial battle group attempting to form up at Sector 7. Stone reported. 300 ships this time. Thompson nodded. Show them what our new weapons can do. The Thunder's quantum cannons fired, their beams splitting into multiple streams of energy. Each beam found its target with perfect accuracy, guided by artificial intelligence far beyond Imperial technology. The enemy ship shields didn't just fail. They never had a chance to activate. Enemy fleet disabled, Stone announced. No casualties on their side. Our stun weapons worked perfectly. This was another surprise for the Empire. Humanity could have easily destroyed their ships, but chose to use non-lethal weapons instead. It was a show of power more impressive than mere destruction. On the Imperial capital world, panic spread as reports flooded in. Human ships had appeared in 50 different systems simultaneously. The Empire's best defenses were useless against Earth's technology. Message from Imperial High Command, Stone said. They're begging for time to evacuate civilian areas. Thompson allowed himself a small smile. Grant their request. We're not here to harm civilians. This is about showing them that their era of bullying other species is over. Across Imperial space, the pattern repeated. Human ships would appear, disable military targets with precise strikes, and vanish before reinforcements could arrive. The Empire's mighty fleets were reduced to watching helplessly as their defenses crumbled. Admiral, Miller called from engineering. You should see this. Our sensors just picked up something interesting. The main screen changed to show an Imperial research facility. Inside, scientists were desperately trying to understand human technology. Their best attempts at copying Earth's advances looked like stone tools compared to modern machines. "They still don't understand," Thompson said. "We didn't just advance our technology. We took a completely different path. Their scientists are trying to improve their current systems, while we abandoned those limitations entirely." The thunder sensors detected a massive energy surge from the facility. The Imperial scientists had attempted to recreate Earth's quantum drive technology. Their experiment collapsed instantly, taking their entire facility offline. "Send them the technical safety protocols," Thompson ordered. "We don't want them hurting themselves trying to copy our tech." This act of mercy shocked the Imperial scientists more than any show of force. Even as humanity dismantled their military, Earth was trying to protect them from their own mistakes. "All primary targets have been neutralized," Stone reported. "The path to the capital is clear." Thompson looked at the tactical display one final time. In less than 6 hours, humanity had disabled the majority of the Empire's military capability. Not through brute force or destruction, but through careful planning and overwhelming technological superiority. "Set course for the Imperial capital," he ordered. "It's time to end this." As the thunder jumped to faster-than-light speed, Thompson thought about how quickly things had changed. The Empire had threatened Earth, expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had started a chain of events that would reshape the galaxy forever. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were showing the galaxy a new way forward, one where technology and wisdom went hand in hand. The Imperial capital world of Magnus Prime glowed like a jewel in space. Its 3 suns cast multiple shadows across the golden towers of the Imperial Palace. But today, those shadows were joined by something new: the silhouettes of Earth's warships hovering in the sky. Emperor Marcus stood at his palace's highest window, watching the human vessels with a mixture of fear and awe. Each ship was larger than his greatest battlecruiser, their dark hulls seeming to absorb light itself. "The Senate is ready, my lord," an aide whispered from behind him. In the Grand Senate chamber, representatives from 1,000 worlds sat in tense silence. The mighty empire, which had ruled the galaxy for centuries, now faced its greatest crisis. The main doors opened, and Admiral Thompson walked in. He wore a simple black uniform with no medals or decorations. Behind him, Commander Stone carried a small data tablet. Their footsteps echoed in the complete silence. "You've conquered us without destroying a single city," Emperor Marcus said from his throne. "How is this possible?" Thompson stopped in the center of the chamber. "We never wanted to conquer you. We wanted to end your tyranny." The Senate erupted in angry shouts. One Imperial senator stood up, his face red with rage. "Tyranny. We brought civilization to the galaxy. Did you?" Thompson pressed a button on his wrist device. The chamber's huge screens came to life, showing images from across Imperial space, worlds stripped of resources, species enslaved for labor, cultures destroyed in the name of civilization. "We've watched you for 50 years, Thompson continued. "We saw how you treated those weaker than you. Humanity decided long ago that if we ever reached the stars, we would not allow such behavior to continue." Emperor Marcus leaned forward. "And what gives Earth the right to judge us?" "Not Earth," Thompson corrected. "Every world you've threatened, every species you've enslaved. We've spent decades helping them prepare in secret." The screens changed again. On dozens of Imperial worlds, hidden resistance forces were emerging. They carried human weapons and wore human-made stealth suits. The Empire's iron grip was slipping everywhere at once. "Impossible," the Emperor shouted. "Our security." "Was looking in the wrong direction," Thompson interrupted. "While you watched our cities and monitored our broadcasts, we were building a network that spans your entire empire. Every servant in your palaces, every worker in your factories, every primitive species you ignored. They've all been waiting for this day." Commander Stone stepped forward, activating his tablet. "We have terms for your surrender." The Senate chamber fell silent again. Emperor Marcus, his face ashen, slowly nodded. First, Thompson said, immediate freedom for all enslaved species. Second, a new government system where all worlds have equal representation. Third, the adoption of Earth's environmental protection laws across all imperial space. And if we refuse? A senator asked quietly. Thompson gestured to the windows. Outside, one of Earth's ships demonstrated its power. A beam of light shot from its bow, touching a small moon in orbit. The entire moon simply vanished, transported to another dimension by human technology. "We could have used that weapon on your cities," Thompson said. "We could have destroyed your fleet rather than disabling it. But humanity chose a different path. We're offering you a chance to join us in building something better." Emperor Marcus stood slowly from his throne. The weight of 1,000 years of imperial history seemed to press down on his shoulders. "The Empire," he began, then stopped. For the first time in his life, he looked uncertain. "The Empire surrenders." Thompson nodded. "A wise choice. Commander Stone will outline the transition process. Within 1 year, the new Galactic Federation will hold its first free elections." As Thompson turned to leave, Emperor Marcus called out, "Admiral, one question. Why did Earth wait so long to reveal itself?" Thompson paused at the door. "Because true change must come from within. We didn't want to rule you. We wanted to give everyone a chance at freedom. Today isn't about Earth's victory. It's about the galaxy's new beginning." Outside, the 3 sons of Magnus Prime set one by one, casting the Imperial Palace into shadow. But for the first time, the darkness carried hope instead of fear. The age of the Empire was over. The age of humanity's guidance was about to begin. Not everyone in the Empire accepted defeat gracefully. Deep in Imperial space, Grand Admiral Rex gathered the Empire's remaining loyal forces for one final stand. His fleet of 2,000 ships, the elite Imperial Guard, represented the last remnants of the old order. Admiral Thompson watched from the Thunder's Bridge as reports came in about Rex's activities. The Imperial Admiral had seized control of the Empire's largest military installation, Freedom's End, a massive space station capable of housing millions of soldiers. "He's challenging us directly," Commander Stone said, studying the tactical displays. "Rex is broadcasting on all frequencies. He's calling you a coward for using stealth tactics." Thompson smiled slightly. "He wants a traditional battle." "Very well. Signal all ships. No more stealth. Let's show them our true power in broad daylight." Earth's fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. 500 ships, each more advanced than anything the Empire had ever built. They faced Rex's larger force across the vast space around Freedom's End. "Enemy ships powering weapons," Stone reported. "They've activated their strongest shields." "Open a channel," Thompson ordered. "Let's give them one last chance." Rex's face appeared on the main screen, his Imperial uniform decorated with medals. "Come to die honorably at last, human. This is your final warning," Thompson replied calmly. "Surrender now. Don't force us to demonstrate our planet cracker weapon." Rex laughed. "More human lies. If you had such a weapon, you'd have used it already." Thompson shook his head sadly. "All ships, clear the area around Target Zone 1. Prepare the planet cracker for demonstration." From the Thunder's hull, a small probe launched. It looked harmless, barely larger than a car. As it flew toward an uninhabited planet near the space station, Rex's forces ignored it completely. "What's this?" Rex sneered. "Your mighty weapon is a probe." The probe reached its target and activated. What happened next would be remembered for centuries. The planet's surface began to crack, lines of blue energy spreading across its continents. In less than a minute, the entire planet broke apart, its pieces floating harmlessly into space. Silence filled every communication channel. "That was at 10% power," Thompson announced. "Freedom's End is much smaller than a planet. Consider carefully what happens next." But Rex had waited too long for this moment. "All ships, attack." For the Empire, 2,000 Imperial ships surged forward, weapons blazing. Their energy beams splashed harmlessly against Earth's advanced shields. "They've made their choice," Thompson said quietly. "All ships return fire. Non-lethal weapons only." Earth's fleet responded with devastating precision. Quantum phase beams sliced through Imperial shields, disabling engines and weapons without destroying the ships themselves. Electromagnetic pulses froze entire squadrons in space, their systems completely shut down. "Sir," Stone called out, "Rex is powering up Freedom's End's main cannon." The massive space station's weapon began to glow, gathering enough energy to destroy an entire fleet. It was the Empire's ultimate weapon, never before used in actual combat. "Let them fire," Thompson ordered. "Show them the futility of their weapons." The station's cannon fired, a beam of incredible power shooting straight at the thunder. At the last moment, the beam hit an invisible barrier and split into thousands of harmless light streams, dissipating into space. "Impossible." Rex's voice cracked with desperation. "That was enough power to destroy a star." "And now," Thompson said, "let me show you what real power looks like." The Thunder fired a single shot from its smallest weapon bank. The beam struck Freedom's End, and instantly, every system on the massive station shut down. Lights went dark, weapons powered down, even life support froze. "Don't worry," Thompson broadcast. "Emergency power will keep you alive. Your station has been temporarily disabled, not destroyed. In 3 hours, systems will restore enough for evacuation." Across space, Imperial ships began broadcasting surrender signals. Even the most loyal Imperial soldiers couldn't deny the obvious truth. They were hopelessly outmatched. Grand Admiral Rex stood in his darkened command center, watching his mighty fleet surrender ship by ship. The elite Imperial Guard, the Empire's finest warriors, had been defeated without a single casualty. "How?" he whispered into the darkness. "How did we never see this coming?" The answer was simple, though Rex would never understand it. Humanity hadn't just built better weapons. They had evolved beyond the very concept of warfare as the Empire understood it. Victory without destruction. Power without corruption. Progress without conquest. The final battle was over, and with it, the last remnant of the old Empire fell into history. 1 year after the fall of the Empire, the Great Hall of the new Galactic Federation headquarters buzzed with activity. Representatives from 10,000 worlds gathered for the first ever free election of a galactic leader. The massive chamber, built by human engineers on a neutral world, could hold delegates from every known species. Admiral Thompson, now wearing the simple gray uniform of the Federation Peacekeeping Force, stood at the speaker's platform. Below him, former Imperial worlds sat alongside the species they once enslaved. Former enemies now worked together, united by humanity's guidance. 1 year ago, Thompson began, his voice carrying across the silent hall, "We revealed ourselves to the galaxy. Many feared we would simply replace the Empire with Earth's rule. Instead, we chose a different path." The main screens showed images from across the galaxy. Former Imperial shipyards now produced vessels for all species. Once secret human technology was being shared freely with all worlds. Schools taught children of all species together. Humanity spent 50 years watching the Empire, Thompson continued. Not just gathering military intelligence, but learning about every species, every culture, every world. We saw the Empire's mistakes, and we saw a better way forward. In orbit above the Federation capital, the Thunder floated alongside ships from 100 different worlds. Its weapons were sealed, its mighty engines used now for peaceful exploration. Earth had kept its promise: power without domination. Some asked why we hid our true capabilities for so long, Thompson said. The answer is simple: we didn't want to conquer. We didn't want to rule. We wanted to give every species a chance to be free. Commander Stone, standing at the back of the hall, watched as former Imperial senators nodded in agreement. They had learned that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their advanced technology. It was their capacity for mercy and wisdom. Today, we take the next step, Thompson announced. Earth declines nomination for leadership of the Federation. We will serve as advisors only. The galaxy must choose its own path forward. A murmur of surprise rippled through the hall. Even after a year, many had expected Earth to take control. This final act of restraint proved everything humanity had been saying. From the delegate seats, a young Imperial child raised her hand. But what if we make mistakes? What if we start fighting again? Thompson smiled. Making mistakes is how we learn. Earth will be here to help, but not to control. The Federation's future belongs to all of us, equally. The voting began. Representatives from every world cast their ballots, choosing from candidates of all species. Human technology ensured the process was completely fair and transparent. In the Federation's new scientific centers, researchers from 100 worlds worked together, combining their knowledge with human guidance. Projects that would have taken centuries under the Empire now progressed in months. The results are ready, Stone announced, handing Thompson a datapad. The new leader of the Galactic Federation was a former slave from a world the Empire had nearly destroyed. Her victory speech moved many to tears. The Empire taught us fear, she said. Earth taught us hope. Now we must learn to lead ourselves with wisdom and compassion. As the celebration began, Thompson walked to the great window overlooking the capital city. Ships from every world flew peacefully through the skies. Children of different species played together in the parks below. Mission accomplished, sir, Stone asked, joining him at the window. Thompson nodded. Humanity's first goal in space was to ensure peace, not through force, but through understanding. Not through fear, but through cooperation. In the distance, a new sun was rising. Its light touched the spires of the Federation buildings, gleaming off architecture that combined styles from 1,000 worlds. The Empire's golden palaces had been beautiful, but they were built on suffering. This new city was built on hope. And now? Stone asked, what's next for humanity? Thompson smiled. Now we do what we've always done best: explore, learn, and help others do the same. There are still countless galaxies out there, full of new species to meet. The celebration continued into the night. Across the galaxy, beings of all species watched their new leader take office. The age of the Empire was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And humanity, having guided the galaxy to peace, turned its eyes toward the stars once more. There were still endless frontiers to explore, and this time, they wouldn't go alone. The greatest victory, they had learned, wasn't in conquering the galaxy. It was in helping the galaxy grow beyond the need for conquest at all.